Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat and Nuzzle edition of the week. The first, in fact, this program is being aired right here on Prime FM 105.5 and also relayed on Radio Gagema, that is in Nimba County, Radio Kwatiget in Bon County, and of course, on Radio Urugisi in Lofa County. That's the home of His Excellency Joseph Yumaboka in Lofa County, where he is currently. I hope it. Also, we are streaming live on our Facebook page. That is the Nighttime Heat Facebook page. Again, want you to share the show, just go on your phone where they have the Facebook, where they have the search, and then you tap Nighttime Heat. After which you're going to follow the show and you share the show. Besides, you can also go on your YouTube channel on your phone or your laptop and you tap Nighttime Heat. As soon as you do that, you also subscribe because it's YouTube. So you subscribe and then you hit the notification bell so that anytime the show comes on, you are live on the Nighttime Heat. We are also streaming live on Prime FM Moravia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Moravia 105.5. Well, tonight promises to be very firing and interesting. You know, there have been a couple of Facebook posts from three top-notch Liberian politicians. The first, Senator Amra Conan of Bakpolu, he posted something, that triggered reactions. First, from former Minister of Finance, Samuel Tue, and then later on from Bromley County Senator Edwin Snow. Later on, they posted, triggered in a reaction from Martin Colley. So the debate has gone wide, and all those, posts from the three, in fact, individuals, Amara Conan, Samuel Tuer, and Bromley County Senator Edwin Snow seem to suggest that the UP administration is riding on the glory of the CDC administration. Is that really reality? We'll be looking at that tonight. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Sabo George is my name. My panelists, Moses Sandy and George Kennedy, will shortly be here along with our producers. Together, we'll bring you a splendid presentation tonight. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Let's start.
And of course, we are starting tonight. That's the Nighttime Heat. Our guests will be here shortly. Let me welcome Moses Sandy. Sandy hasn't been here. I think 2 editions. Yeah, I think so. Sandy, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, man, to be back with you and my friend and brother George. Tonight, I know it's going to be another interesting discussion. So it's good always coming to talk to our people, educating, entertaining. First passion in life is journalism. So it's always a pleasure. So.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming. I know over the past days, you've been very, very overwhelmed with a lot of office work and that of domestic affairs as well.
Yeah, it's been crazy, but I'm grateful that we are holding tight. Life full of uncertainties, challenges, but we can do it. Nothing is impossible. Yeah, I'm grateful. I'm good.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
We are grateful that you are back on the program, and we're hoping that we all have a perfect stay on the program. Let me welcome also George Kennedy. George just walk in. George, welcome.
Thank you, Sobo. The night is good. I want to say, Mr. Sandy, you are most welcome. We're missing you these few days, and thank God that you are back. Well and kicking. And good evening to the Liberian
Yeah,
people. We are back again to do our job. Yes.
yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. And thanks to you and Saba for holding the ground. I've been following the show. You guys been doing a wonderful job. You know, we are making a lot of sacrifices. So I want to say hats off to you and my friend and brother Saba for all the good work you people continue to do. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you,
Moses.
Moses. Moses, and we are getting some feedback. Hoping that that can be okay. So Moses and George are here. And so be there because we are right here. We want to share the show. Tonight promises to be very, very interesting. It's firing. We're hoping so. Our guests will be joining us. And we'll have, as part of the guests, or amongst those guests, we'll have Jacob Jara. Jara will be joining us he's known to be from HACO, from the Coalition of Democratic Change. We'll have also Mr. Oliver Wiese. Mr. Wiese will join us. He's a very strong supporter of the UP administration. Mr. Ford Masikwe also supports the former ruling establishment, that's the CDC. And Dr. Lester Tinney, we hope Lester Tinney will join us this time. He supports the current administration. We also have Representative Sumo Molba will be here. I want to say you'll be in studio live with us because where he lives, the internet has major problems. But gentlemen, let's begin on this note before our guests can come in. Today, the government tried addressing the aspect of shortchanging and neglecting the rural populations. Over the past years, that has been a major problem. Many of our people in rural, many of the administrations that come to office, they believe in and feel that Monrovia is just Liberia. And at the end of the day, many of the local services, our people are shortchanged. They are cheated and neglected. But today, I think the administration of the UP, the Unity Party, made some milestone achievement, trying to decentralize passport services in rural Liberia. Let me get your take first, George. What do you think about today's event or dedication?
Excellent. I think what today's dedication means is that our people, it will cut down costs on the people. It will give them the opportunity to easily have access to their national passport, and they can stay anywhere. You can stay right in Returo or Bikana, or how to call it, or Banga. Mm-hmm. You can get your passport and then travel from there to go anywhere. It's very good. I don't know. Maybe Mr. Sandy can speak to that. Prior to the war, I don't know if they had those centers in those areas because I was a bit small. I didn't take note of that. But I think with this, I think it's a giant leapfrog into taking those type of quality services to the people. I hope that the centers there are well secure and protected, and that the rightful people, the trained people, the experts are there. I don't know, they will be producing the passport there, or they'll be gathering the information, sending it to Monrovia for processing before remitting the passport to those counties. Those are some of the information we hope to gather from the people. But I think it really is important for the people of Liberia, especially the rural parts. I pray that, and it is my hope that MFI will go in almost all the counties in the country. So, yeah.
Okay, let me get your take, Moses. What do you think about today's dedication of passport service centers in rural Liberia?
So, I agree with Mr. Kennedy. It's a plausible initiative. and that is something that no one will kick against. Like Mr. Kennedy said earlier, in the 70s, the 80s, I'm sure some of you can also speak to that. We did not see decentralization. Even before the war, there's nothing existing in Liberia called decentralization. And this is one of the reasons
Sure.
why, gentlemen, I support the local government act that focuses on the decentralization of services to the people. Liberia is not Monrovia, and we all
Not at all.
agree. I mean, look, someone lady in Grand Julia County, the man wants a driver's license. The man has to come to Monrovia.
Yeah.
The time, the energy, the money
cost.
spent to come to Monrovia, the cost associated with that.
Yeah.
I mean, that just stall progress. It make life real difficult. Let me give you an example. United States here. This is how centralized our services are. Every city. I live in Newcastle, Delaware. In Delaware, we have various cities. We have Dover, we have Newark. Wherever you live, whatever essential service or services that you need, those services are within your city. I want to change my driver's license. I drive to the local DMV in my city, Newcastle, go and get my driver's license. I want to do renewal of my vehicle registration. I don't have to go to Dover, which is the capital city of Delaware. I go to my local DMV in my county. That's what we want in Liberia. The man in Sani College should be able to drive to the to the nearest service center, renew his driver's license, pay for his insurance or whatever services that this person needs, the person should be able to access. I think we should applaud the government on that. We need to begin to expand. That is plausible. It's a very good initiative. I think it's 100% for the government. Yeah.
Okay, the link. I think yes. Just 1 minute. I think you guys said it all again, and that's the reason I started by saying that there has been a perennial problem, especially many of our administrations, the previous ones. They had that belief that Monrovia is just Liberia, and as a result of that, they shortchanged our people. Our people in rural Liberia are neglected of major services. But let's give it to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. She did extremely well, and this is the reason why we as a people, as a country, we shouldn't be too impulsive. In another word, when someone is appointed to a position, in our judgment, we shouldn't be too fast. We shouldn't be foolhardy to think that this individual who has been appointed doesn't have the credential, or he doesn't have the ability. I think she has demonstrated over the past year plus that she's been in office with the major reforms that she's taken, she's initiated at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So let's give it out for her. She did extremely well, and also on generally on the national note, we also give it out for the president, because it is under his administration that this major reform has been initiated through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So also, gentlemen, I want us to talk briefly something that Moses Sandy, in fact, started discussing, did a podcast. I can remember relative to the effort by Montserrat County Senator Darius Dillon in trying to get the young people off the streets. Sometimes when people call them Zokos, I get so angry in my spirit, because they are not the appropriate reference or the appropriate word for those people or name for them is at-risk youth. You can call them at-risk youth, and
Yes.
not Zocos. They are not Zocos. That's demeaning. When you refer to our citizens in that manner. So Moses, started out in a podcast trying to highlight what he thought was the graduation ceremony that was held, over the weekend by Senator Darius Dillon's initiative, getting the young people off the street. So Moses did a podcast, but I think it will be quite necessary that we hear from Moses first as to what he was really what message he was really trying to get across, and then we can, analyze and talk about that quickly. Moses?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Soba, for elevating this discussion. And quickly, let me just clarify. I did a post after I watched the senator and members of the Center for
Yes, go ahead, Moses.
they have what they call the sixth graduation ceremony for individuals who struggle with substance use. The people stigmatized, the people simply demeaningly referred to as Zogos in Liberia. Like you saw about, it is painful to see our people being stereotyped, being demeaned, being referred to as Zogos. These are individuals with challenges. Okay. So when I heard the senator and his people say these people, were being graduated or they were graduating from the center, I thought that the senator was misrepresenting the truth. And let me make this. A lot of people don't know me for this. I have a master's degree in social administration.
Okay.
I have almost 90 years clinical experience. I have experience managing people from all racial backgrounds. I have experience working with individuals they refer to in Liberia as Zogos or drug addicts for close to 10 years. I have experience working with immigrants. I have experience navigating, the foster care system. So I am well grounded in this business. This is what I do for a living. I sit and talk to people, manage people, and get paid. That's my job in the United States. So I thought to do this not to sell myself, but to help people know that, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. When you work with people who struggle with substance use, when they go into a rehab is a treatment facility with people who have emotional problem. That could be mental health problem. It could also be what? Substance use problem. So people who are using drugs, people who are alcoholic, they go into rehab. When they are admitted, these individuals go through phases of treatment. When they come in initially, just what we call detoxification, meaning that when they are taken off the street, the substance is in their body. They are given medication to help them detox. Because if you don't do that, when you allow them to go through withdrawal, they may end up dying. The situation is like you're going to an emergency room. So the first thing they do, they try to stabilize you. That's what happened in the detox. So in an intensive outpatient program, like the rehab that Senator Dillon runs, what they do when they are in crisis, they stabilize them, they put them on medication and all of that. After you should have completed that, then you allow them relapse prevention. You're teaching them coping skills. You help them learn skills through what? Individual and group therapy sessions. At the same time, they are being taught how to manage their life. They are being taught to manage situation. They are being taught to manage what we call triggers. Triggers is what? When we're talking about trigger, we're talking about the individuals, the situations that made them to start using substances. And that can go on between what? 1 month is 1 month to 3 months. So Senator Dillon is people, let me start on a positive note. We don't have the resources in the country. We don't have the expertise in the country. It is possible that the senator has stepped up to the place. But I think the senator is also making a huge mistake. And I need to speak to this. So when the people go through that first 3 months of treatment, you do not graduate there. The word graduation means that a degree or a diploma has been conferred on someone after completing what? A training program, a degree program. Yes, someone may say, well, you went to the rehab, you were taught because as rehab, they taught them so making other things. So at the end of the day, they gave them certification, all of that, that would be considered graduation. But because of substance use, it's a continuous process. It's a treatment. It's like someone who has diabetes. If you are diabetic, it's a lifetime illness. Take medication to control your diabetes. So it's the same thing with the guys who are struggling with substance use. So what you do when you stabilize the situation, they get transition from one program to a. There are several phases after detox, which like the emergency aspect, when you take care of that, and then moves to what we call intensive inpatient. The intensive inpatient or residential treatment, and that is coordinated by what? The social worker. You have psychiatrists. The role of psychiatrists is to what? Evaluate the patients, the individuals who are coming in, and find out if the person has mental health problem. Mental health problem. A psychiatrist is a trained medical doctor with specific training in mental health treatment. The person will prescribe the needed medication. Take, for example, you may have a lot of people coming in with depression, a lot of people coming in with bipolar disorder, a lot of people coming in with schizophrenia. It becomes the work of the psychiatrist to prescribe medication for these. At the same time, they are being treated for
Let me just hold it a bit. So what is it that, because we have only 6 minutes to go, what is it that you say? Are you insinuating or are you saying tonight, honestly, that you can easily graduate those people? You can do their process for, or conduct their process for 6 months, 1 year. It's not possible. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that it is wrong for Senator Dillon. It is wrong for the senator and the managers of the rehab to continuously tell our people that they are graduating people from the rehab. What they are doing is that people are completing treatment. When they complete treatment, these people are sent into the community to live their life. Now, that is what happened. That's what we say in recovery, that recovery is not an event, meaning that it is a continuous process. You can come and complete one phase of it, and then you move on to the next phase. You can go to Dillon Clinic, stay there because they do the training for like 6 months. So you complete, and then that's what we call aftercare. Then you go into the community, it becomes the responsibility of the social worker to address whatever your situation is and link you to resources. The purpose of doing that is to help you to continue with your care. Your care has not come to an end. But when Dillon says he's graduating people, it means that those people have no problem. They will never come back to the rehab. When someone graduates, the person completed a training program, the person completed a degree program, the person cannot go back to school and do the same training again. And in the substance world, or in the recovery world, look, I'm speaking to you. I have worked with individuals that I have seen for times come to our facilities. We treat them, we discharge them, we connect them to resources. So, but you won't believe it. I come back to my office on Monday. I go in the ward, I go in the units. the same person is back on the unit with the same problem. Research shows that 65 to 70% of people will complete treatment in rehab. 65 to 70% of the people relapse. They go and come right back. It's like a revolving door. That's why we say recovery. In your body.
So what is your proposal? Maybe Senator Dana may not be listening, but someone could listen and have it informed. What is your proposal? How do you think one can handle the recovery process of those at-risk youth?
Okay, excellent question. And let me say this. Instead of the senator calling journalists and putting people on camera, making all the political statements that he's graduating people, first thing, the senator is violating the privacy of people. We talk about people being stigmatized. Take, for example, if I have a daughter who is an addict, that's going to be a stigma on my family. So since they don't take these people and put them on camera, people will say, oh, that Moses Sandy daughter, that's Robert George's son, that Mr. Kennedy's son, and our family name will be stigmatized. So you don't invade people's privacy, you put them on camera, you say you're graduating them. When people complete treatment, it's what? Done privately. You don't graduate these people because in Liberia that graduated from his program. If any of those people have never gone back to his facility, if any of those people have never gone back to a ghetto to use drugs, to drink alcohol, I can tell the senator to call the University of Temple. Then they revoke my license, then they revoke my academic credential. Because studies show that people will go, some of them will be able to maintain what we call sobriety, abstinence, cleanliness. They will stop using. Some will be successful. But majority of the people sober, they will come right back. There are people who have had this problem for more than 30 years, 35 years, 20 years. I've said and talked to people who started using drugs when they were 20. Today they are 60. I talked to people who started using drugs when they were 10. Today they are 45. You do the math. So the senator is misleading the people. I appreciate what he's doing, but you shouldn't be telling our people, say he's graduating people. No, the people are right back into a rehab. It's very challenging. It's a very challenging. It is costly. Very expensive project.
I see you made a point there. Let me ask candidate. Candidate, what do you think about what Sandy just said?
I think Sandy is right. What's going on is, in my opinion, and also I want to understand from the senator's point of view, he's a politician. He's not a technician. He's not a mental health specialist. He's dealing he has people who should be trained to do that. I agree with Mr. Sandy when he said these people privacy should not be exposed, especially calling big graduation as it's a learning curve for the senator. I'm not his spokesperson, but I think his intention is good, as Mr. Sandy said. I think he needs to look at it. And I'm worried as to whether when those quote and unquote graduates are graduated, I don't know if they just send them to society or they found something for them to do to keep them busy. So the possibility of good number of them relapsing, become slim. I don't know. So I thought that he should listen to Mr. Sandy's advice. I'm not a mental health specialist, but from what he said here, I've seen a lot of reasoning and sensing it. If I were the senator, being a politician with a good intention to actually help the at-risk population, I think he should listen and take some cue from there to see how his people can implement it. I think he's right.
Okay, let me get a member of the House of Representatives. I'm coming, Moses.
Yes, I just wanted to say.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, no, go ahead quickly before I can just get the view of one of our guests, maybe to just comment on what he just said. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and so let me just say this to the point that enemy. Let me give you a couple of reasons why people relapse. That's what we call generational addiction in counseling. Say, for example, if the three of us on this show here, we are all living in the same house. The three of us are all addicts. If any of our children go to the lungs clinic and they can even stay there for the next 5 years, when they come back to the house that same day, the three of us drink alcohol or we are using drugs, we betray us. The first thing the kid come home, we say, "Oh, we're celebrating you." The Lord say, "You just graduated today. Take a drink." When you take a drink, all the 5 years that man spent at the Lord clinic come down to zero. So you have to think about the environment in which the person lives. Then another reason, George talked about that. Are these people going into something meaningful? Will they be engaged? Boredom is a contributing factor to most people using what? Substances. In the morning, you have no job, you went to the university, graduated. All you do, you sit home, you play Ludo 24/7, and your friends across the street, they're drinking liquor and celebrating. They call you over. What will you do? You go right back to drinking alcohol. You go right back to the ghetto. You lost your wife. You're dealing with clinical depression. That's what we call what? Self-medicating. What do? You buy drugs. The aspects, look, I can run a whole class. I can run a whole class for DeLong.
Okay,
But they don't
Moses,
know
thank you.
the business.
Thank you, Moses. Thank you for the education. Let's ask one of our guests who's also form part of the discussion. He's just here early. Let's try to ask his opinion or view on what you just said, Moses. Reb, welcome to the program.
Thank you. I would like to say good evening to everyone out there. Oh, it's a tough one because I'm one of those at least advocating for the issue of drugs.
Yeah.
But then the issue of drugs is in two forms. I listened to you mentioning the long graduating people, those that have been addicted to drugs. But my thing is, after graduation, what next? That's the major thing.
And that's what he's talking about.
After graduation, what next?
So you don't graduate them because
the thing is that
you don't hold a formal ceremony for them to graduate.
Not even
them,
Dylan alone. I'm aware of even the Catholic who are into this venture of changing life as it relates to drugs. But then those that were cleans from most of the center, they are back again into drugs. Because the thing is this, like for the young people, I always say this: if we cannot create the job to keep them busy, then you can do all of your cleansing. They will still come back to drugs.
Sure.
Because I listened to the panel who said that there are more to be done as it relates to the clinical aspect. But then there is something that we also need to look at, the issue of unemployment. Unemployment has been one of the major things in Liberia, where we have a lot of young people, after school, just quite recently, Cotton put up 500 graduates. So you think, what happened next when there is no job for them? So what happened next is that they join their peer, right? Peer alignment, where they get to the ghetto, right? To release the mind of being boring, they take in the substance. So what can we do? They don't need to do because he's a politician, like my brother said, right?
George Kennedy, yeah.
He's a lawmaker. So the law we have, I heard Dylan crying to say that the executive are not enforcing the law, right? Yeah, the executive can enforce the law, but what can we do despite the law? What can we do to create more job? Despite enforcing the law, the young people need their job.
You should.
Yeah, and I'm sure that if we have more people working, when we are busy as a young people, there will be no time to go and take drugs.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are key things that the government need to do despite Dylan crying.
Okay.
Dylan also need, because he formed part of the government. When the government feel, you feel. So Dylan also need to advocate where we have job, like we listen to the quote-unquote CSA boss that says that in his report, 2024 report, he says we have job, but it have been occupied by the Liberian. And even when we look at the quote unquote decent white eye, where we have 45.1 C, it gave the minister the right to that of the Liberian the right to have job. When there is no Liberian, then you put forth the foreigner. But I just want you sober. You just do your own fact finding. Get to the various stores we have today in Liberia.
Yeah.
You find Lebanese, you see Indians, Chinese. They are serving as store boards. The least job that a Liberian should have. So when we create the avenue, then we will be serious that Liberian young people can be employed. Then the issue of jobs, then is like we are helping to mitigate the process.
Okay, we'll take a day to talk about that because I understand there is a campaign. I think group of women will be coming out anytime to conduct to stage some. I think protest or whatever it is, trying to call the government attention to that. But let David Cody again chip in on this quickly. Let's put David Cody on before we can take our guests to talk about the reason why we are here. Dave, let's hear from you. Dave, let's hear from you. Hello? Hello? It seems that Dave is off again. It seems that he's off. I hope he can call us back. But our guests are connecting gradually. Our guests are connecting. We hope to have, you have already, Representative Smoke Morba. We hope to have Jacob Jara. Jacob Jara is supposed to connect to this program. Mr. Oliver Wise is supposed to also be on this program. Mr. Ford Massacre is supposed to be on the program. And Dr. Lester Tinning. Dr. Tinning also supposed to be on the program so we can talk. We'll be talking about basically Facebook posts from 3 top-notch Liberian politicians. The first former finance minister and current Bapolu County Senator Amara Conning. We'll be reading those messages I'm making reference to. Amara Conning, and then also that was reacted to by let's try to take David Cody quickly from this angle, and then we go to talk about issue. David, let's hear from you quickly.
Well, thank you very much, and good evening to all panelists. I couldn't agree more with Mr. Sandy on this issue. He's right, 150%. You know, sometimes I hear about this graduation business from these places where Zogos, okay, you don't want to call them Zogos. So I asked myself, graduation on what? Graduating from what? From where to where? You know, I think in the United States and many developed countries, when people go to jail, they stay in there and learn some trade, learn something. And when you graduate people like that, they're not coming out the same way. They come in with something in the head, where they will go in society and be people for themselves. So I ask myself, graduation from where to where? Don't make it. I hope the public not mistake. I'm trying to say, good initiative. We're trying to Senator Dillon, good initiative. It's not everything.
Okay.
So, okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cody. Thank you very much. We'll take a day in this week to talk about the issue of our at-risk youth. What can we do? Because I can remember this government campaigned hugely. In fact, that was one of the major campaign message of this government to get our young people off the streets and try to rehabilitate them. That was a major fighting the drugs war. So hoping that this government can do more. But like I said, our guests are joining us gradually. We'll be talking about the 3 Facebook posts done by Bomi County Senator Amara. That's Bapolu County Senator Amara Conning. He's former finance minister, and then that was hailed. In another word, it was hailed by former finance minister Sam Tuer in the last administration, and then Bomi County Senator Amara Conning. Edwin Snow also came in and joined the fray there. And then later on, that whole drama or post, Facebook post, were also reacted to by Martin Colley. We'll be looking at what they've been raising. And if you look at the post, you read that of Amra Khan and Samuel Twer, they were suggesting that, it seemed to suggest that the UP administration is riding on the glory of the CDC administration. Is that really the case? Is that the situation? Is that really the picture that they are, they are painting here? And they look at the macro economy. We'll be looking at all of that tonight. Our guest supposed to be joining us. Let's see who's on the line quickly. Jacob Jara is on, and then is 40 is on. Dr. Lester Ting, we're trying to wait him. He has Dr. Ting is on now, and also we'll have in studio Miss Representative Molba, Small Molba. He's also here, and of course we'll be discussing, like I said, this major national issues. This debate that's been sparked by the Bapuru County Senator Amra Khan's Facebook post. So you can welcome our guests quickly, you and Moses Sandy.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guests, we want to welcome you all, Dr. Tenney, Mr. Jala, Mr. Wiset, and Honorable Morba.
Yeah.
Every one of you are welcome here. We'll be sitting and listening to you guys. Some of you are experts at Dr. Lester Tenney. We want to hear from your wisdom some of the economic issues, including Mr. Jala and others. We want to learn from every one of you to see how we can chip in to provide some information that we know about it. Welcome to the Nighttime Heat.
Yeah.
Oliver. So yes, Moses, John quickly.
John, let me join George and Sobert in welcoming all of my fellow Liberians, all of you on this podcast tonight. I want to say welcome. This is about Liberia. I hope we can put Liberia first tonight. That's what our personal egos, our personal interest behind us, and make this about Liberia. I trust it is a very practical tonight. Have a very good discussion. And lastly, let me say this: I did not come here wanting to put down the effort of Senator DeLong.
No,
What
not
he's
at all.
doing is laudable. It is laudable. We all appreciate for him stepping up to the plate, but it's just that unfortunately, he's not an expert in this business. He's not being
Okay.
informed properly. And I hope the Liberian government, President Joseph Yuma Boakai, will support Senator DeLong, and the national government can take a giant step in addressing the problem of addiction in our country. This is
Okay,
very
Moses, thank you, Moses, thank you. You made a point already. We'll try to find time to discuss the issue, the drugs situation, addiction of our young people. We'll try to take time to discuss that anytime this week. But let's get into our discussion, and let me first read what I have. If you do have a pen, you can take notes. But let me read first the post to the Facebook post of Bapuru County Senator Amra Khan that sparked the debate. He said, "Now that the debate about yesterday's protest and crowd size is over, I hope we can focus on the important issues affecting our country. The truth quietly washes our self-deception since 1980. Again, let me read this. The truth quietly washes our self-deception since 1980. It doesn't protest or make noise. Those who oppose us often reveal truths that supporters might miss. We lie to protect ourselves, but we usually speak honestly when we disagree. Yesterday may not have been a good day for the protesters, according to regime supporters. But I hope our government bears that. No, I hope our government hears their complaints. A silent majority didn't feel the need to protest yesterday, maybe because of its leaders, but will protest at the polls in 2029. If they don't see the government making a difference in their lives, they say you can ignore reality, but we cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. Remember, we had stable macroeconomy before the 2023 elections. While we are making steady progress now, times are still tough for families. Gentlemen, that's the post by Amara Corner. I'm sure we all listen. Do we read the reaction of Samuel 12 before we go into this one? But I think we can talk about Amara Corner's post. One of the things he said, we had stable macroeconomy before the 2023 elections. He said, though the silent majority didn't protest, but they will protest at the polls, and hoping that the government will also hear the complaints of those who protested. He said, while we are making steady progress, times are still tough for families. Let's hear from a member of parliament. And he's in the house. They all making a budget. They do all of the allocations and all of that. Okay, it's been distracted. Want to hear from him first what he thinks about what Amara Corner wrote. Lombico, let's hear from you.
Wow. All right. So the thing is bothering to me to start the discussion, but I think what Amara said is in line with good faith, because when you look at the projection, because I would like to take it from three different dimensions for those three writers.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw the write-out from Amara Conan, like it was not as specific that could be showing. Then I look at the issue of Martin Colley, where he came by after Samatue had to relay the voice of the former finance minister.
Mm-hmm.
Then he gave his side of the story with figures and statistics, right? And when you look at the statistics, first of all, before you I'm doing my PhD.
No, let me look at it.
I want to create it. I want to open the flow of discussion.
Okay,
right?
go ahead.
I'm doing my studies, right? And we have what we call in writing, academic writing, despite your article, you can have an in-text citation. So when I look at all of what Martin Colley said, the in-text citation was not mentioned based on publication.
Mm-hmm.
So he gave a URL address that fall in line along with the World Bank.
Mm-hmm.
But in there, here's the thing. With all of those data given from Martin Colley to that of the statement from Amara Corner, what
I wanted to hold you, we haven't yet read what Martin Colley.
I'm saying Amara Corner is right. Saying Amara Corner is right. For the statistics, what I did, both deviation, I found that Amara Corner is right, 100% right. Yeah. And I'm here to support that.
So, in other words, you are saying that before the 2023 elections, we have stability of the economy. The economy was okay.
Yeah, in three forms. We have poverty, inflation, to that of account balance based on trade, right? I think it was stable based on the percentage to that of, because the Ghana fund is 2004. I'm not from no political party. I'm speaking as an individual, what I learned. Right. So when we look at 2024 is the A stage for the turning for the Unity Party Boakai leadership.
Okay.
Right? And during the A stage, you will always have the number dropping. There will be a reduction in the rating for poverty, because the thing is that during the election we have campaign. The money is from the elite they use it on our people, right? The grassroots. So then, based on the grassroots is the group of people that we're talking about poverty, right? So based on the money that we pump in doing campaign for election, it reflects the year close to the campaign. So for that reason, people that receive money use it for business. So in 2024, when you look at the rating, you will find out that based on percentage, and we will try to discuss the percentage here, you will find out that there is a drop in. When you see, you will see 26.4% as it relates to poverty. So when you compare to CDC, which is 31.2% for CDC 2023, it came down to 24.6%. And then what happened now? What's the reason rate for 2025? 2025, you have 33.8%. It have gone up, right? So the difference between there is 7.4, which is huge compared to the CDC government.
Okay.
The CDC government, when they took over 2017, 2018, you will see 50.9, right? That's the poverty rate. But today, CDC left it at 31.2%. So the difference in between there, right, is 19.7%. So if you have the deviation of 90.7% within the 6 years, you will find it to have something like 3.3%, right? Which is like for year 1, 3.3%, year 2. So we are hoping to see the rating of the party from year 1, 2024 to date is 4.8%. But then it has gone up to 2025. There's a big difference. There's a big gap, and that gap reduce. It's not like reducing poverty. It's like increasing poverty from this to 33.
So all of the, you are saying, succinctly that
with poverty, we haven't got inflation yet.
Poverty is at a higher rate under this administration than that of the cities.
I'm quoting what Martin Colley said.
Okay,
the source he used. I'm using the source.
Let's hear from you, Dr. Tini. Are you on? Dr. Tini? It seems that Dr. Tini has a problem. Let's hear from you, Jacob Jala. Mr. Jala. Mr. Jala?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear from you quickly. Yes, I'm hearing you.
I was trying to get to my unmute button, yes.
Okay.
So maybe my opening comment, right, on this matter. I think, first of all, let me say, I think it's a healthy debate. And I think that the dialogue and the conversation has been going. It has provoked a lot of comment across the country, between and amongst different professionals or experts on the economy. So I think it's good. But one thing I will say in my opening comment is that I don't think there is a lot of contestation, around the fact of the matter, right? Because we have these statistics, issued by the International Monetary Fund, inflationary numbers around exchange rates, poverty numbers, and all of those numbers have been released year in, year out, particularly even since the end of the war, early up to now. So these statistics are not quite strange. So I see, and I think the debate and the discussion so far hasn't really been around questioning the authenticity or the veracity of the numbers, right? It's basically being around interpretation of the numbers. So if you have statistics around inflation, around fluctuation in exchange rate, macroeconomic stability, whatever the technical terminology may be, the numbers are out there and people have been struggling around interpretation of the numbers. Now, some people say you can't just cherry pick one particular data and then, make a broad conclusion around that data, because statistics are statistics, but one particular statistics cannot tell the whole story, especially when it comes to people's livelihood and economic well-being. So I think, the numbers are out there, different interpretations have been given to the number. I don't know whether we'll have the time to go into the detail of some of that, and then I can share my perspective around what really need to be talked about, because we can play with all kinds of statistics, we can play with all kinds of technical languages here and there, but I really think that these growth numbers, as professional and technical they may be, tend to really miss the real issue. And I think the real issue is people living standards,
Okay.
jobs.
Thank
And
you.
all of
Okay.
that.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's.
I beg. I want to make a final point. We can talk about macroeconomic stability, inflation, exchange rate, the deficit, all of that. Right. There's nothing wrong with that, because you need to stabilize the macroeconomy. That's good. But the real transformative impact is not done on that level. It's done on the level of job, investment, all of that. But again, that will be my opening comment. I still have a lot to say.
Yeah, surely. Let's try to go around, and then we can come to the posts written by former Finance Minister Samuel Tuwe. Let's hear from you, Dr. Lester Tinning. I'm sure you heard, or you might have read the posts done by former Finance Minister Amara Connor, Bapuru County Senator.
So to say that the economy pre-Buckeye appears to be glossy, miss a fundamental point. What are the indicators for which the Honorable Senator calibrated for his conclusion? There are several macroeconomic indicators that will suggest stability. One is GDP, the overall economic performance. Once the overall economic performance is rosy, then you can say the fundamentals of the economy is sound. But what was GDP during the administration of George Weah? GDP was around $4.3 billion. Currently, GDP is around $5.2, $5.3 billion. So it means that today's economy has outperformed yesterday's economy. What guarantees economic growth? Economic growth is guaranteed by various economic activity, inflow of investment, widening of the macroeconomy in terms of participation of economic agents, a buoyant balance of payment, and all of those different indicators. You can clearly see from statistics that this economy under the administration in 1 year, 9 months has outperformed that of an economy that lasted 6 years. Today, the GDP of Liberia is around $5.2, $5.3 billion. That's a clear indication that economic performance has heightened. But let us look at other indicators. Inflation, for example, because we are left at 10.2, 10.3%. Today, inflation has dropped to 8.2%. It means that if you were buying a bread that cost $100, inflation will have eaten into the cost of that bread by 10.2 cents as compared to today, which is only 8.2 cents. It clearly suggests that the cost of basic commodity has reduced in terms of purchasing power as compared to the past, because inflation itself catalog the cost of a bread basket, the general cost of a bread basket. So if your inflation rate drops, it means the general price of goods and services will decline. In the case of today's Liberia, inflation is around 8.2% as compared to the 6 year of 10.8%. Somebody talk about poverty. Poverty is a blurred indicator of economic performance because there are several aspects of poverty. For example, when you look at multidimensional poverty affect issues like sanitation, access to clean water. When you have population increasing, like in the case of Liberia, When you have a growth rate of around 2.5 or 2.8%, it means that population is on the rise. Whenever population is on the rise, the possibility of multi-dimensional poverty, especially in poverty-related countries, tier world countries, is always going to be high. So when you see that the poverty rate is around 33%, it simply means that you have additional people into the macroeconomy that are now competing for the limited resources. This gave rise to the level of poverty reaching to 33%. But poverty itself does not describe the nature of the economy as being underperforming. It just only presents a picture that your population is increased, therefore competing priorities are being challenged.
Okay, then let's go with there. You spoke about inflow of investments. I don't know what Jacob Jala agree with you or not. Jacob, let's hear your reaction to him.
No, so the first thing I would say is that any meddling with the economy, whatever it is, any at the macro level, whether you're talking about controlling inflationary pressure, whether exchange rate stability, any tooling or retooling of the economy means precisely nothing, or it's only practically maybe a theoretical exercise if that meddling does not impact the living standards of human beings, right? That is it, because the asset test of any economic progress is its ability to fill empty stomach, right? So that's why you have something, a technical language they may use, a policy language they may use something called jobless growth, right? There may be growth in the economy showing fantastic, sexy numbers, but if that growth is not impacting in tackling living standards and improving a lot of the people across the country, then that growth is basically there for me, academic or theoretical reasons. I'll put it at that. So what I look forward to, I don't know whether this is in line with the dynamic of the dialogue here, but what I look up to is the extent to which we're able to improve the lot of the people, we're able to expand jobs, we are able to expand the economy. I want to see the statistics on that, and that has direct corresponding effect on the poverty level in the country. And also another point that Dr. Tenney made about the growth of the economy and all of that, and the relationship to people living standard and the rising
inflow of investment.
And then the point I'll make is that if the economy is expanding, it's growing, let me expanding. We don't want to even talk about expanding. We're expanding the expansion of additional sectors across the economy. Real estate, e-commerce. We're not seeing expansion at all. We may see, statistics showing improvement in GDP, but is that growth expansive enough? Is wider, is inclusive enough to capture more and more people into the net and then provide them, improve social welfare and all of that. Now, if the economy grows, now let me make the 1.4. If the economy grows, shows growth in economic numbers, GDP numbers, whatever it is, but that growth is not in touch with the rise in the population, then that means that growth is out of step with reality, because the economy has to be able to grow in line with the demand, right, that the population places on the economy. So it's a lot of policy mismatch. It's a lot of mismatch here, and that's the reason why you see, even though we show sexy numbers, GDP, but you still see a lot of poverty.
They are not reflecting the lives of the people.
The economy is not expanding. The economy is not expanding at all. We're not expanding the economy. We're not seeing private sector rejuvenation. We're not seeing increased lending to the private sector. The percentage of GDP to private sector lending is still one of the lowest in the region when compared to competitors' countries. So the economy is not expanding at all. It really is a growth. It's a jobless growth. And it is not a growth that benefits the generality of the population. So we're not expecting for such kind of growth.
Okay, before my two panelists can come in, let's hear from Mr. Oliver Wiese on this. Mr. Wiese, we first read the post of Amara Conan I think you listened to that very well. You also, listen to the reaction of your colleagues. What do you think?
So first, let me say thank you for inviting me again on this platform, and it's an honor to be here sharing the platform with this great man, especially Dr. Tenney, who I always follow. You see, I'm still here thinking about the intent of Senator Connor's publication, or maybe a statement immediately after a protest. In what you read, I also noticed that the senator is trying to caution this government to give a listening ear to those who protested. In fact, he said that they should give them a listening ear. And in what you read, I also noticed that there is a threat that if the government doesn't listen to the people, then maybe by 2029, then
The silent
maybe
majority will protest.
yeah. So I am not an economist, so I wouldn't sit here to pretend to be one. But from a layman perspective, in line with the economy that has been discussed, I just wanted to know from President Josh Weah leadership to President Joseph Nyaman Baka's administration. I wanted to know what was improved under Josh Weah that is not improved right now, or that is not improving right now in this government. Because you're looking at the micro economy, the individual behavior of people in relation to prices of goods. I mean, household, how people operate locally, looking at the smaller economy, not the bigger picture. From my perspective, looking at the numbers may be there, but actually, I think currently the Liberian people are living better than what we experienced during President Josh Weah administration. For example, in 2022,
we are getting some feedback. I don't know who's Moses, please. As we're getting feedback. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Oliver.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, for example, in yesterday years, we saw a huge shortage of our national staple food, where market women were sleeping in streets just to get rice. Today, rice in our markets are stable. Electricity, to some extent, is stable. Before then, you couldn't find that. So I don't know, from which perspective, like somebody said, they are looking at the numbers, but in reality, how are the Liberian people living? How is their life improving? In my opinion, currently, the Liberian people are doing better than yesterday.
Okay, let's go there. The Liberian people are doing better than yesterday. Please share the show. We want you to go on our Facebook page, the Nighttime Heat Facebook page, or our YouTube channel, and then you can share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your partners can also follow what's happening. But let us go to the representative first, gentlemen. Dr. Tini spoke about inflow of investments because one major indicator if when the economy is growing, you find out that people are coming in and jobs being created, people are working, and families who do have food on the table. Where do you all do the signing of major concessions? Are there inflow of investment?
Let me just say this. It depends from where the one who make the statement is taking his source from. Yeah, because if we were to look at the inflow of investment, then we will be signing agreement, right, contracts. But I'm aware of no other contract yet except where the one they sign the US embassy.
HPX.
Yeah, HPX. Then even with the renewal of contract, we have not gone through any yet. So I think there have been some obstacle. But I think what Dr. Tennant was saying, because he make mention to exclude the issue of poverty, the rating of poverty, right? From the process, we also look at the issue of trade balance. We have export and import, because if we have more investment coming in, then it tells you that the rate of export will increase, right? But we have a decreased rate when it comes to exportation. So to hear the doctor saying that, I'm a bit confused, because everything, when it comes to even the GDP, it boiled down to the issue of our people, their life. Because if you still have the increased poverty rate, then and here you're saying the economic is balanced. So I'm a bit confused, right? He have to like go in detail to explain more. But from my end, if you even look at the rate of inflation, because what people are doing, they are only looking at the end of George Weah. I'm not from any political party. But what I'm saying is this: if you are looking at George Weah end, then you should look at George Weah beginning, for where he took the economy from, right? So if you look at George Weah beginning, if you look at the rating for poverty, for inflation, to that of our trade, right, the balance of trade, you will see an increment. Right? He took it from a huge rate to reduce it to the level where he stopped. Another person coming in, right? They are taking it from that rate. But here's the thing, Sobo, let me tell you this. If you even do your foreign analysis as it relates to foreign policy, when you listen to Donald Trump with even the issue of USAID, right? There have been $2 billion of funding in Liberia. But what have it done to the people of Liberia?
What the impact?
What's the impact? That's the major thing we are looking at, right? So what's the impact from previous government to that of now? And even the 1 or 2 years that the Unity Party-led government have gone through, right? What is the impact? What are those yardsticks that you can tell us that the Unity Party is doing extremely well than the CDC government?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so gentlemen, let me, before you guys can come in, my two panelists, let me try to read this reaction or this post from former Finance Minister Samuel Tuel quickly, and then we can also talk about that. Let me express profound thanks to Senator Amara Conan for his honesty and for championing his new brand of honest politicking, a strange and alien animal in the environment of Liberian politics. Independent thinking, bravery, and honesty are the ingredients truly missing to forge a new game of politics. Mr. Senator, you have stepped up a ladder in this new field. Because most politicians do not understand macroeconomic numbers, they do not like to quote them. So our politics is riddled with lies. As more senators, representatives, and appointed officials of government start to interpret numbers to our people, I believe less will be more effectively counted. It is an unassailable fact that the CDC administration handed the UP administration a solid macroeconomic foundation. Nothing can change or should dilute this fact. Poverty was declining, growth was increasing, net international reserves were higher than CDC inherited, and inflation was lower. That's how much was speaking. He said poverty was declining, growth was increasing, net international reserves were higher than CDC inherited, and inflation was lower. As we speak, between January 2024 to end June 2025, latest CPI data shows that prices are 12.48% higher. So things on average are 12.48% more expensive under the UP than they were under the CDC. If something cost LD 1,000 under the CDC, it now costs LD 112.4 under the Unity Party. This is fact. The UP should use this fact and apply the same macroeconomic strategies or even better strategies than the CDC used to achieve the macroeconomic stability. Senator Corner referenced. Let me also add that the World Bank financing the CDC commenced the construction of around 37 public schools, with 25 of them being high schools. We look up to UP administration to complete and dedicate these projects. We should now turn our attention to availing quality education where the challenge is more intimidating. Okay, let's leave it at that, gentlemen. We all listen to what Samuel 12 wrote. He said prices, in fact, are more higher now than under his administration. So let me get a take of you guys. First, let me hear from you, Jacob Jara. Yes, sir.
So, yeah, quickly,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Jala, please, if I could just take a little bit of your time. I just want us to be mindful. If you look at the theme of this discussion, the question here is, and I see people doing comparative analysis here. And let me pull out the theme of the discussion. The question is the UP administration really riding on the glory of the city? That's the question.
That's
And
Okay.
So I just getting the
this
question now.
yeah, this question here is whether somebody is benefiting from what somebody did. That's the question
And the
that we
answer
need
is
to
no
answer.
from my end. The answer
Okay,
is no
so
from my end.
yes, that's subjectivity. It could be no for you, it could be yes for me.
It's
All
for
right.
another person.
Okay.
So what I would like to say quickly, is that in every administration, what we have learned in civic, what we have learned in leadership, is that government is continuity. You had an administration that led the country for 6 years. You have a new administration that is building upon what it met. Prior to the CDC, there existed the Unity Party for 12 years. When the Unity Party faded out, it becomes the responsibility of the we administration to build upon what it met. So I would like to say, instead of us doing a comparative analysis, now we got more poor people in Liberia as compared to years before. The question here is the Unity Party riding on the glory of the CDC? Obviously, honestly speaking, I would say no, because the economy that Mr. Weah inherited was more viable, more stable as compared to the economy this administration inherited. And the reasons are many. Many of you here have given justifiable reason as to why no one can say this administration is riding on the glory of the CDC. I don't want to waste your time on that, but I just think that we need to focus on the theme of the discussion.
No, but Moses, if one says that, fine, if one says that yes, indeed, this administration is, or no, this administration is not right, you must be able to give the indication.
Why?
You know, give the why.
Yeah.
So that's the why they're trying to exist.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
let's
You're
hear, let's hear from Jacob Jara quickly. Jara, you listen to the Facebook posts done by former Finance Minister Samuel Tuwe. What do you think? What's your take?
No, yes. Again, I will go a step further on my point to say that the reason why the Liberian people voted for the Unity Party, and I'm sure former Minister Tuwe may have hinted that, I didn't listen to all of it, was not to come here and start doing macroeconomic fixes like inflation, like fiscal reform, like other kinds of things now. The Liberian people have had enough of that work from early. Of course, we had headwinds in 2019. We had COVID, before COVID, of course, Ebola, and all this kind of disruption in the economy caused by the public health crisis. And some of the withdrawals we noticed from Liberia in terms of NGO money and the oil drawdown, all of that, the Liberian economy has had its fair share of challenges and difficulties caused both by domestic and international shock. Now, all of that is behind us, and I think there where Senator Corner made the point that there have been work done in these areas. And I would also argue that the reason why Liberian people voted for the Unity Party is to move the ball forward down the field. And moving the ball forward down the field means, moving the ball forward down the field means that now tackling the real critical challenges of our time, which is expansion of the economy, which is jobs. I will always come back to that. Jobs. We have an acute problem, a great crisis in this country today of youth unemployment or youth underemployment. The Unity Party was elected to tackle and solve that problem, not to fix inflation. Now, not to fix exchange rates. I mean, a great deal of work has been deployed in that area in the past. The macro level fixes. Now we need to deal with the real sector, with the real issue, getting a lot of young people back into job, expanding agriculture. We have our natural resource sector, ArcelorMittal, iron ore, diamond, all these sectors, expanding this sector, making it more vibrant. We're talking about domestic private sector, we're talking about businesses. We're talking about improving lending to the private sector, improving capital to the private, reducing the cost of money and borrowing for the private sector. We're talking about education, improving the quality of education so that our young people who are in college, who are in technical schools, can get the required amount of capacity and education to come and participate in the economy. We talk about opening and expanding new sectors. I mean, if you want to go to Ghana today, you have a vibrant, expanding e-commerce sector because of the expansion in internet services. Uber services in Ghana. You don't even want to car in Accra. You can move anywhere. That's more money for young people who are in transportation services. We're talking about our restaurant, we're talking about tourism. These are the high-level transformative economic decisions that we talk about transformation in our economic infrastructure, seaport, airports, expansion of roads connecting all the county capitals, talk about expansion in electricity access. Those are the things that bring prosperity to Liberians. That's what the Unity Party was elected for. And if I want to cross-examine the Unity Party, I will cross-examine the Unity Party based on these indicators. It's not going to be on whether they fix inflation. Now, if our inflationary numbers worsen, then we can say, what the Unity Party is doing because our numbers were good before. Now, if they deteriorate on the Unity Party. But I want to hold the Unity Party into the fire on the real transformative things that need to happen in agriculture, in tourism, in commerce, in real estate expansion. And also, the national budget. Now we talk about what? 650 core revenue domestic, 750 national budget. I want to see like real budget in $1 billion rising, increasing revenue. Get where I will see a greater Unity Party now on macro fixes.
Okay, so Mr. Fode Masakwa has also joined us. Mr. Masakwa, welcome to the program. I'm sure you've been following. Let's get your opening comments and your reactions to some of what we've been talking about, Mr. Masakwa.
Thank you so very much. And let me begin by extending warmest greetings and salutation to everyone here. Honestly, the preposition on discussion for me is a yes. The Unity Party, the Boakers School administration, is riding on the CDC successful glory. But before I open, I want to say this in a very clear and unambiguous tone. We do not need Senator Amara's Kone admittance of a speedy, stable macroeconomic stability to realize that indeed the CDC administration led our country, transmodified this country, and the economy of our country were very stable. We do not need Senator Amara's Kone's admitting. You know, the only reason why you see people is bashing at the senator is simple. In the Unity Party, they see truth as an abomination. Any group of people that sees truth as an
Hello. I think he gone off. Okay, so let's hear from you, Dr. Ting again. Let's hear.
So, it is quite interesting that, and basically, it is an opportunity to extend my class on this platform. There is a bi-directional relationship between economic growth and job creation.
When you look at the numbers
Wagner,
21, we achieve macroeconomic.
No, one minute, Mr. Masakwe. We just want to hold you there because you went off. 1 minute. Let's let Dr. Tinney just react to what Jacob Jana said. Yes, go ahead, Doc.
So I was saying that there is a bi-directional relationship between economic growth, the expansion of the economy, and that of job creation. When economies grow, more jobs are created. When jobs are created, income is given to the job holder. In that income, taxes are remitted.
Dr. Tenny, can I make a point? I want to be a student here. There are movements, and we've seen that quite a lot of time, where the economy show positive growth, but there is also something called jobless growth.
Oh yeah.
I'll just let me bring that to your attention. That's it.
So there are different categories of labor, right? You have structural unemployment. Structural unemployment can give rise to jobless growth, where you chose not to go to school, you are an economic agent, and you think that you can acquire income. That is one of the causes of jobless growth. When we speak of economic growth, we are talking about the expansion of the macroeconomy. The expansion means every sector of the economy is breathing outward. When the economy expands, jobs are created. When jobs are created, more revenue will be collected. When more revenue is collected, more expenditure will go on. Expenditure on public sector expansion, expenditure on infrastructure development, roads, electricity.
Yeah,
Wait, you want to get the economics of growth, right? You want to get the economics of growth. Our argument is.
Dr. Tinney, can we inject something? Can we inject something?
Yeah, I just need
that the economy has grown does not necessarily mean that the economy is expanding, because the growth in the economy, for example, can be caused by extractive industry activity, for example, extraction, mining. You know,
when we talking about growth, in economic, when we're talking about growth, we are not talking about segmental growth. We are talking about the overall economic performance, not a partial expansion of a sector. Economic growth is the cumulative sum, the summation of all economic activity, not a partial reflection of economic activity. So a sectoral growth does not necessarily translate to economic growth. Economic growth means all sector of the economy is expanding. When all sector of the economy has expanded, more jobs are created, more revenue will be collected. When more jobs are created, more income will be given. When more income are given, we're talking about disposable income. Two things happen with income. A portion will be saved and a portion will be consumed. The portion that is saved will be used by investment. And when investment goes on, dividend will occur, dividend in the case of profit, and it is a cycle, a circular flow. So you can tell me that a 4.3% growth is greater than, as in the case of Samuel Twe, a 5.2% growth. You cannot argue that your economy yesterday was better when it was 4.3% in growth term as compared to 5.2%. More besides, inflation. Inflation is the singular barometer to reflect the cost of living. Once the cost of living drops, standard of living will increase. Hello?
What's your point of argument, Dr. Tenen?
I don't like this kind of interruption. As a professor, it is my duty to teach.
No,
the brother Jacob Jara struck a very important point. The brother Jacob Jara struck a very important point. The point he was saying,
your students want to ask you that.
Yeah,
but let me learn. Jacob Jara struck a very salient point that we are looking at the standard of living. Now, to address the issue of standard of living, you have to look at the parameter that gave rise to the cost of living. If the cost of living as reflected in the inflation rate is lower, standard of living will increase because there's an inverse relationship between the cost of living and the standard of living. An inverse relationship. Once the cost of living increase, the standard of living will drop. In the case, inflation has dropped, suggesting that lower prices is occurring now. When lower prices in an economy occurs, people become better off. That is the economics.
Okay.
Right?
Can I
Hello?
point?
Oh my God.
Can I make 1 second contribution?
Yeah, Dr. Tenen.
Yeah,
Dr. Tenen, a question for you. Yeah, my issue here, you make mention of inflation. So when you talk about inflation, we go down to currency. So when you say that it's better now, right? I'm confused because we still have a rate.
Inflation has nothing to do with currency. Inflation basically look at the general price level. Currency is in a different domain. Inflation has to do with the general price level. When you introduce currency, then introducing what we call the purchasing power parity. Hello?
You said prices have dropped.
Thank you.
So he's asking now.
And evidence of the inflation. You had inflation yesterday at 10.2%. Today it's 8.2%. It means that the basket of goods and services that used to be $100 had an inflationary tendency of $10 as compared to now only $8. If you are paying $8 less for a commodity that you used to pay $10 for yesterday, it suggests that
there should be a
your
decrease in
quality of
price.
life is improving.
There should be a decrease in price, Dr. Tenen. There should be a decrease in price. But we still have the price on the upward curve. There should be a decrease in price. Dr. Tenen, are you aware of the price of rice? Because most people will not understand your inflation thing you're talking about.
Inflation is the best way to explain this thing. I have no other way to explain prices unless it is denominated by inflation.
Most people will not understand that. We are looking at the price rate now. What's the rate you have now compared to the past? We discuss inflation here.
Well, inflation is not restricted to to general price and not absolute price. Now, if the price of rice, if the price of rice has increased, it does not mean that there is an inflation in the economy. It means that a price of a commodity has increased. Inflation talks about the general, the aggregate, the summation of all prices. It is the aggregate price that is characterized by inflation, not a singular price increment.
I'm thinking a different way. I look at inflation as the
wrong way.
depreciation in the currency value. I'm looking at the currency value, right? The depreciation in our currency to that of the US, right?
When the power depreciation in your currency, then you are looking at what we call the J curve. And that is a different segment called the balance of payment.
Dr. Tony, that's the answer. Don't do that. Break up quickly, and then we'll go to Mr. Massaquoi.
Yeah, I want to make a quick point, right? Now, and when we talk about, for example, growth numbers, GDP numbers in the economy, fine, but we don't just get excited about numbers being thrown at us. We have to investigate the nature of the numbers. For example, if you talk about the growth rate across the economy, the first thing, if you read all the reports on the economies, whether like the World Bank report, whether it's even the reports coming from developed countries, they look at the source of the growth. What is the driver of the growth? There are certain growth that are driven by certain activity. That particular growth is going to be very skewed and it's going to benefit a small segment of the population, and it's not going to have a general impact on living standard across the country. For me, that's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in an academic exercise. I'm interested in serious things, right? Now, for example,
so in the case of Liberia, the growth is in the real sector. Our growth is driven in the real sector, basically the extractive industry.
Exactly.
That's the real sector.
No, listen now. Not about whether the sector is the real sector or not. The point I want to make is that I'm coming now. I want to make a quick point, and it's not a technical point. I think only anybody can understand. What I want to say is that if you look at the reports and the factors, the drivers of the so-called growth that we're having here, which for me is not real growth. Any growth that is not inclusive, that is a jobless growth, for me, is not a serious growth. And this growth is driven by activity in the extractive industry, right? In extraction, right? Diamonds, Bee Mountain, and all these people who are digging raw materials, packaging them on the ship, and shipping them abroad.
And you still have an increased poverty rate.
They're not creating supply chains. They're not creating value chain. They're not creating jobs, right?
Thank you.
They're not creating expansive activity in the economy. So that kind of growth benefits the few elites of the society, the politicians, and those who collect responsible for that. And that particular growth does not impact the generality of the population. Am I going to celebrate that kind of growth? Absolutely not. So when I talk about growth, I'm talking about inclusive growth. When I talk about growth, I'm talking about growth that brings everyone along.
Reflect on the people.
Yes. That's the kind of growth we want to celebrate.
Okay, Mr. Jara, let's...
There's something called, economic library, economic literature is available to everybody. Growth without development. And that's what we're having now. We don't have roads. We don't have agricultural expanding. We don't have to diversify. We don't have manufacturing. We don't have the sector that will create jobs.
I will need better for you. Growth in figures.
No, you do have growth. You do have growth and development.
Growth in figures.
We do have growth and development in this country as we speak.
Okay, let's go to Dr. Tini quickly, and then Mr. Massaquoi can come in.
When we speak about development in relation to growth, we do have growth and development. You have the expansion of all the major corridors in this country. The road corridor, that's development. You can take 3-4 hours now from Monrovia. MTA buses are now going to Harper, Maryland County. That is development. You could not have that 6 years ago.
Make it clear. By home, we are comparing here, right? So there should be a specific. So when you discussing reflect to the government you are talking about, we are discussing.
I'm talking about now. Now means the government of Joseph Boakai has created an enabling environment where MTA buses are now going to Maryland. You know what I mean? It means that you have eased transport. It means that the cost of goods and services in Harper will reduce because of the limited time it takes to
Are you
carry
sure
goods
that
to that
MTA
other
have
part of
buses?
Nigeria.
Are you sure
Hello?
that MTA have buses? Don't fool the Liberian people, please. Are you sure of that?
Honorable, unless you are not following development. I mean, even Jara saw the arrival of
I am.
NTA buses in Harper. I mean, all over the
How
place.
many of them?
But
Even
the
though
point I'm trying to, the point
How
I'm
many of
trying
them?
to stress, the point I'm trying to stress,
How many of
one
them?
the
member
point
in
I'm trying to
How many
stress
of them?
is
How many of them?
you have a parallel growth as well as development concomitantly in the Liberian economy today.
Have they
There
here
is
discussing
a concomitant growth and development occurring.
Okay, Dr. Tene, so you are saying that there's
growth in
there's
figures.
growth in development.
And
The
that is
economy is
potential.
growing and there's development ongoing. Mr. Masako, let's hear from you. Are you still on?
In figures. Let's make it clear. Figures.
Mr. Masako?
Yes, I'm on. I'm on.
Yes, okay, let's hear from you quickly.
So the first thing is, I want to punish the misinformation and lies about Dr. Stinney. Inflation now is not 8.4. If inflation, according to the Central Bank of Liberia and the Legis, the 2025 CPI data report, in 2025, as I speak to you now, from January 24th to June, inflation is 12.5%. So in his own statement, his own voice, he said that we should use inflation as a barometer for the goods and services prices. So it means essence, because the CDC administration left inflation at 10.1%. Now, under this government in 2025, according to Legis. So only if you want to tell me that Legis is lying now. So inflation now on a Joe bracket is 12.5%. But that's not the subject. The subject of the argument is, did Unity Party achieve a stable macroeconomic stability? Yes. It is not now. We should not use the admittance of Senator Kone as a reliance to believe that proposition is true. This was achieved as far as back as 2021. So let us look at where CDC took off from and where CDC left it for Unity Party. In 2017, in 2018, when CDC won the election, growth, GDP, Unity Party, 12 years, growth was at 2.5%. 12 years, Unity Party took 12 years to achieve a growth of 2.5%. So it means, in essence,
That's not true. That's not true. Point of correction. That's not true. That's not true. You cannot average the 12-year growth to be 2%. That is not true.
So let me
And don't forget, you are talking to a PhD holder, so that is not true.
No. So let me tell me where. Because data is
Growth cannot be averaged at 2%. That is not true. Growth is year on year. Growth is year on year. Every year has its own growth rate.
So
you cannot say in 12 years CDC met 2%. That is totally untrue.
In 2017, Unity Party left growth at 2.5%. When CDC took over,
be specific.
From 2.5%, CDC left growth at 4.8% in 2023.
So what is the growth rate now? What is the growth rate now? It's not 5.2?
CDC.
What is the growth rate now?
Exchange rate from 130, and CDC left exchange rate at 185 and 86. Exchange rate today is 200 plus. Another thing is inflation. CDC took inflation in 2017 from 12.8%, and CDC left inflation at 10.1%.
So, following the story.
Talking about growth now. All of the growth that you are talking about, growth was left by Honorable Samuel Dito and the CDC at 4.8%. So it means growth for in and upward a trend or direction. So the United Party should be focused about the major issues. What are the major issues? The major issue is no more about macroeconomic stability. No, that were achieved. They were achieved based on the growth, on the stability exchange rate, on the low inflation and the management deficit. These were things that were achieved under the CDC as far back as 2021. So we should not be having an argument. We should not be having an argument here about stability in growth. No, that will achieve FADO. We do not need Senator Corners to tell us that. The United Party should be focused on the big issue. What are the big issues? The big issue one is the private sector lending. What is the government doing to see how the private sector can now to create opportunities for people? The second thing is the creation and availability of jobs. No new jobs have been created by United Party. We saw the dismissal of over 7,000 and for 7 years. So in essence, the only reason why you see we're having this conversation today about a stable economy and somebody talk about growth, there's no growth here. There's no growth here.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay. Okay, you made a point. You made a point, Mr. Massaquoi. Let's hear from you, George. Mr. Massaquoi, you made a point. George, quickly.
You see, sometimes it is good to face a reality. I mean, I always told people when you come to the disco, you should come with facts. If you say the growth rate was 2.5% in 2017, when you took over 2018, you carried to 4.5%. Was that 2.5% not a growth? Was it now on a growth trajectory? The answer is yes.
Then why did
you made it?
Damage?
You didn't meet it at zero. You didn't meet it at zero. So you said nothing was growing. That was a growing number, 2.5%. It left from 0%.
So why the United Party refused to acknowledge on the growth of 4.8%?
When the Ebola crisis came, the economy went to 0%. That was steady growth from 0% to 2.5% to 2.4, almost 2.6 to 3% in 2017. You came, you met it. Well, excuse me, we want to be real. We want to be real. It was on growth trajectory. Don't say nothing was there. That's the fight. Okay?
No.
The administration took it from 2.5% to 3% to 4.4.
2.5 compared to growth of 2.5 and 4.8%. And so which one is the senior number? So which one is the superior number here?
Wasn't that a growth trajectory? Growth 5? Did you take it at the rate of 0? The answer is no. Okay, so the growth
you have made that left growth at a better standing the United Party, the CDC took it. These are the lies.
No, I differ with that. I differ with that. We don't have you to hijack the stage here. I differ with that. I differ with that. Let me just say this.
What is your position? 1 minute, Mr. Massaquoi, quickly.
With the rating of growth, we have to take into consideration time interval. He's speaking on the time he took to that of his 6 year. That's the term.
The whole 6 year.
But we are discussing United Party. To be frank, he came out with the figure better than I that attending. But here's the thing: for the growth rate, the poverty growth rate, there is a deviation of 4.8 for United Party. They have just gone 1 year. Let us be real with the information here. Then to that of inflation, we have 1.9 for the 1 year for United Party. So if you were to break the growth rate of CC into portion, into year, time interval, you will find that you have 0 point something to that of 1.9. So when it comes to inflation, United Party, depending on the figure, I'm discussing the figure. I'm not discussing the impact of our life, our people life, because all of those figures used by CDC, used by United Party, they are all theoretical.
Yeah.
It's not like not practical. Not practical. That's it.
They don't seem to reflect the people. That's it. Jeff, come in.
No, I was going to answer the question. What kind of growth are we discussing here? You have been discussing growth numbers at the same time. The amount of people in the country increasing.
Okay, so my question to you and the other panelists is, I want to ask a question.
So how you got the information?
How do you compare, in terms of GDP growth, the living standard of the people in the past regime and the living standard of the people in the current regime? Take into consideration GDP and inflation.
No,
how do you describe it?
No, for me, I will just tell you that the issue when you talk about the life of our people, because
the picture being sent is like, in my opinion, the picture being sent is like more people are living better life in the past regime than today. So you the panelists or our guests, I want you to please speak to that. In terms of the living condition, the application.
The only way you determine that, you have to go through cost analysis, right? What are the price for rice?
1 minute, Jake.
The price for rice
analysis. When you want to do that, right?
3,100 today.
What was it?
It was higher than that in 2003.
So
no. Far less.
It was how much?
No, you have to do cost analysis before you go down to the people.
No, it was there.
Jay, let's hear from you.
We probably should end the show and go down the market, down the street and find
yeah, you are right. But this is what, gentlemen, I want us to talk about this. And I'll begin with Dr. Tinning. Again, I read it all, but let me again go over it. Samuel Twe, the former Minister of Finance, he said, it is an unassailable fact that the CDC administration handed the UP administration a solid macroeconomic foundation. Nothing can change or should dilute this fact. Poverty was declining. Growth was increasing. Net international reserves were higher than CDC inherited, and inflation was lower. Dr. Tinning, do you agree with this or do you differ? Dr. Tinning?
Well, I'm still trying to figure out on what basis. So Twe was comparing the Eden administration in the context of that narrative and the CDC, because he's suggesting that what he inherited, meaning that what Eden left him, he built upon. I mean, that is a narrative he tried to picture here. But in reality, he was not actually comparing what is the reality now. Because when you try to compare the reality now, you can clearly contrast that his statement suffered a tragic fall. That the economy is around 5.2% growing, meaning that he left it at 4.8%. There is a significant increment from 4.8% on average to 5.2, and this is just year 1.5. So what you are experiencing now is a steady growth pattern.
Thank you.
By the way, the rule of thumb, no tier world country should celebrate a 4% growth. The necessary growth required to jumpstart any tier world country is at least 8.5 to 9%. That is the required growth for any tier world economy to reliably conclude that they have a solid macroeconomic stability. So every other indicator only shows a pathway to obtaining stable macroeconomic stability. The required figure is 8.5 to 9% growth. Only developed countries as a rule of thumb we have lower growth rate, and the reason for that is that all of the infrastructure already in place. When it goes beyond 2, 3, 4%, then we consider that an overheating economy. So within the context of Liberia, you cannot celebrate 4.8% as if you are on the right trajectory of a stable macroeconomic. No.
Theoretical.
So Saba, I provided information.
You used to do your analysis. What do you use to do analysis?
I insist on the record. 2003, 25 kg bag of rice. was sold here for 3,900. Today it is 3,100. Check the record. If it is not true, then of course you can say, George, leave my show, and I will leave. Because when we come here and provide information, we like to be clear about it and be sure.
We should
During
provide
the
facts.
last regime, the latter part of the last regime, Berber rice was sold for high. In fact, that's in Monrovia. It was up to $6,000 in Maryland County. Today, in that same Maryland and Grand Gator, it's 3,500 LD. Check the records. They are there. Let's provide facts when we come to the discourse. Then, of course, because that's staple food. Gasoline was around $5. Today is $4.18.
So what your
So
soy?
those are the moving. Those are the commodities that move prices.
All the source you get in that
You
from?
can even just.
I saw you looking at the internet. Everybody
Okay,
get the internet. Do an answer.
So, gentlemen,
That's not a source.
gentlemen, we started with the Facebook
I
post.
send my nurse to the market every day. She tell me the market dry.
She taking your money. She may be taking your money, Jacob.
I'm gonna say about beggar every time. I know the price for a rice. The price of rice are $18. That's the price for a rice. Convert that into 200, Liberian dollars, and get the amount. It's
Okay,
more.
so gentlemen, we'll be opening the lines very shortly, but we started with the post of Bapuru County Senator Amara Kone, but we have skipped something.
So what about
I want us to talk about this, and I want to go across the table from the beginning of his post. He said, "Yeah, somebody coming in."
Go ahead.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is proceed. According to the previous question you asked, this is Oliver.
Yeah. Okay, Oliver, go ahead quickly.
Please, before you proceed, I'm so sorry to just interrupt you. You were asking the question whether the Unity Party is riding on a glory from the CDC. I wanted to speak to that as well. And I want to say no. No, because government is an entity of continuity. There's nothing that glory here. Where you stop, that's where another administration starts from. So the CDC will not also say that they were riding on the glory of the Unity Party when they took power in 2018. Now, this government.
I think you still getting back to the theory. You still getting back to the theory. Especially you say something different, but you still getting back to the theory.
It could be theory, but that is the point I wanted to make. That the Unity Party is not riding on any glory.
It's not riding on the glory of the CDC. Okay, gentlemen, let's look at this line currently quickly. Amara said, now that the debate about yesterday's protest, I did this post after the protest. The debate and crowd size is over. I hope, and this is it, I hope we can focus on the important issues affecting our country. Gentlemen, when somebody is hoping, in other words, I stand to be corrected, but they are not sure that you are doing what you're supposed to do. And so they are hoping
You are in a
that
doubt.
fine, they are in a doubt. Gentlemen, are we is the UP administration, and we'll go across the table before opening line. If the UP administration really focusing on the core issues affecting the lives of our people, is the UP administration doing so? Let's begin with you, Dr. Tinney.
Obviously, you can see the pattern of seriousness when it comes to the delivery of services to our people. And one of the key indicators is the robustness of the president in mitigating any perception of corruption. As we all are aware, corruption tends to erode public confidence. So you can clearly see that there are more people in this current administration being prosecuted than any other regime. This itself create the confidence level in the Liberian people that indeed this is a government of serious people, that it is on the right trajectory to address their deficit that has plagued their life over the years. So yes, indeed, this government is delivering on all of the promises made. There are some glitches. We will acknowledge that. Quite recently, over $300 million was withdrawn from the Liberian economy from 68 or 69 different projects. This government step in to mitigate the adverse effect of the withdrawal of USAID. That in itself shows the degree of attention being created by this government on key areas that will have left vulnerable and will have negatively and adversely impacted our people's life. Look at the way our people are conducting themselves. Look at the way they are living. People are living longer now as compared to 2 years back. The life expectancy of every Liberian is around 60. For men, it's 67. For women, it's 68. CDC level at 65. It means that people are living longer. What is the driving force that giving rise to longevity of life? Good way of living. Improved standard of living, improved health care. Infant mortality rate has dropped significantly over the last 12 months. So it seems to be that this government is delivering on almost all of its promises in the face of acute global challenges.
Okay, thank you. Let's hear from you, Mr. Jacob Quickly.
My response to that question is no. I don't think the Unity Party is tackling the real core issues of our country yet. They still have time. This is year 2. They have up to next year, and I have to give them the benefit of the doubt that they could turn the corner moving forward. Let me tell you something. As somebody who's been following development work in this country for a long time, both government and private sector, and development sector. So I can tell you one thing. If we really want to develop the country, I'm talking about developing the country. I'm not talking about this and that policy fixes, macroeconomic fixes. I'm not talking about the policy. I'm talking about transformative progress. We need the resources to do that. We need the money to do that. As we speak currently, the Union Party government, it may be previous government, since you asked the question about the Union Party government, has not been able to mobilize the money required to develop the country. They do not have the money required to develop this country. Take, for example, our revenue, our budget composition right now. Core domestic revenue. I'm not talking about borrowings or funding coming from the IMF or the World Bank. I'm talking about core domestic revenue. I'm talking about money that this economy is able to generate by itself. It's probably around between $600 to $650 million.
Hello, Mr. Jala?
That's going to be around $330 million, for example, right? Now, if you talk about goods and services, the cost of running the administration, car, gasoline, all that kind of thing, you talk about a couple of million. If you take all of that from the budget, goods and services, you talk about borrowing, external debt, domestic debt, you have virtually nothing really to invest in economic infrastructure that grows. You need around close about $1 billion today to connect all county capital to expand this economy. You need several $100 million or a couple of tens of millions of dollars to invest into agricultural expansion, to invest into airport, to invest into seaport, to invest into the job creating sector of the economy that will bring prosperity for all of our people. We don't have that yet. So the Union Party does not have the resources to develop the country yet. Now, there is a solution. For example, one important solution could be reforming and transforming our natural resource sector. We have iron ore concession model that has not really worked. We're collecting royalties, collecting licensing fees. We don't see the level of productivity there. We don't see the expansion there to create jobs. We don't see finished product. We don't see anything happening. We talk about fisheries, our waters. We are very blessed in this country with fish, all kinds of product in our water. We see the NAFA charging license fee. We're not seeing, ships or people who are fishing Labrador water, opening factory, manufacturing fee, adding value. We're talking about diamond, gold, bee mountain, all of that. And these natural resources are finite. In the next 20 to 25, I listened to the senator from Nimba. He said in the next 20 to 25, there will be no more iron ore in Nimba. Now, all these resources will be depleted and will still remain a very poor country. So I don't think the Unity Party, and I listened to the Minister of Finance the other day, Minister Gafuan. I was disappointed. I mean, I'm not personal to him, but all he talked about, PFM laws, inflation, yes. But I didn't hear the big transformative changes that need to happen in our mineral industry that will raise our national budget. Sierra Leone, the national budget about 1.3 billion. Ghana is over 20 billion. How you call it? Africa is around 27 billion. Liberia, 600, 750 million. You don't have the fiscal space, the resources needed to develop the country. So I want to see the Union Party tackling that issue.
Okay. Let's hear from you, Oliver, quickly. Mr. Wilson?
Yeah. So the government came up with the arrest agenda, and the government is working in line with that agenda. Currently, they have launched the National Agriculture Development Plan last year, July. Under this administration, they have suspended tariff on agricultural products and equipment coming into the country. And all of these are done in order to expand the economy and to empower small farmer holders so that people will have food and have cash in their pockets. In my opinion, the government is moving according to what they intended to do as a government.
Okay. So the question is, yes, go ahead.
Senator Connor is hoping for the Unity Party. They are not hoping, they are doing what they were elected to do. And they need to wait and see exactly what the government is doing. Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear from you, Mr. Massacre. Is the government focusing on the core issues affecting the lives of our people?
And the answer is a very big N-O, no. With an exclamation mark, no. Why? On corruption. Corruption is no longer a vampire. Under the Boakye School administration, corruption is a cabinet minister sitting in cabinet meetings. The art of wanting to romanticize corruption with a lukewarmness of suspending people is a mirage. What I say so. Since Mr. Boakye came onto the presidency, not a single individual has been prosecuted, investigated, trial, and jail for corruption. So that thing of suspending people, giving them an escape right to steal more is an act of romanticizing. The cure for corruption is not suspension. Never was, never will, and never will be.
So are you insinuating that corruption is the only major issue that the government should focus on?
You see, accountability is a hallmark of anything. But corruption is just one of them. Don't look at poverty. When you look at on the global index, the 2024 Global Hunger Index 2024 report, it said that Liberia is the 8th hungriest nation on the face of the earth. Over 38.3% of the population are malnourished. The Front Page African newspaper, March 2025, it says that 8 human beings eating 1 cup of red under the Boakye School administration. So meaning Liberian people are more poorer than ever before.
Okay. Okay. Let's leave it there. Let's end it there. Let's end it there and let's end it there and
That's what I want to know. So the Lieutenant actually misinformed this platform on inflation. And like I said, according to the Central Bank of Liberia and Ledger's 2025 CPI data on inflation now in Liberia is 12.5%. It means, in essence, anything you are buying, okay.
Okay.
12.5%. 28 cents now.
Okay, so let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. Let's leave it there. And go to representative
of commodities under the Unity Party is far higher than they were under CDC. This is
on the CDC. Okay, fine. So let's hear from. Let's hold you there finally, Mr. Massaquoi, and hear from Representative Sumo Mulba. Is the government focusing? You are in the government. You are member of the House of Representatives. You are signing all the major concessions. You heard Dr. Tini saying that there's flow of investments, but you counter that. He said no, you haven't yet signed anything of that nature. But is the government focusing on the core issues, those important issues affecting the lives of the people? That's the question.
All right. First of all, I would love to lay the basis from the argument. When I make mention of comparative analysis, I think I listened to Dr. Tenen who said no, but I think the entire argument is based on comparative analysis from both ends. So I only listened to the protester because I think where Amara Conan came from was from the protester when the protester said that I'll make mention of worsening poverty, raising inequality, lawlessness, erosion of public trust, right? It was the key issue laid aside by the protester to the government. But here's the thing. We have to be real because I'm a realist. I love to be real at all times. So the issue here is we look, first of all, at the levy condition, the price cost, right? That we could look at from both ends. When you make mention of rice to that of gasoline, then during the CDC time, we look at gasoline in the price of $980, $960. But today we have gasoline at the rate of $760, $780, both
that's
gasoline
a major drop.
and fuel oil. Yeah. So that's a drop, right? Then with the issue of rice, I think the only difference there with the issue of rice is just because we are looking at the bag and I'm looking at the cup, right? So the issue there with the price of rice is based on just $5 difference. And I will tell you that when you're doing your development studies, you will find out that when development is going on, the price will increase, right? Because government pay more attention towards development than what is coming in, right? So sometimes you have an increment. So that's not an issue. I think over the time it can get better. Then the issue of corruption, that's the major thing, right? So I listened to the panelists that make mention of CDC, right, blowing his own trumpet. I'm not here to blow anyone's trumpet. I'm here to tell you what it's like. So with the issue of corruption, there are people that name were mentioned with the issue of corruption. And what Boubacar did, the first thing Boubacar did to fight and to mitigate the issue of corruption was to introduce the War on Economic Crime Code. He passed it on the CDC government. They did not, right? So credence and thumb up to Boubacar because even the War on Economic Crime Code, there is a phrase that economic crime, right? So we will help. It also help based on the code to mitigate the issue of hardcore corruption, right? And the issue of money laundering could be handled from that end. Then we look at what are those steps that the president have taken in the past time. The issue of suspension. During George Weah government, he did not suspend anyone. He promoted them, right? But in this government, the president. You did. Look, we are mentioning the both president here, the both party, right? The both government. So when I'm mentioning it mean anything. So the thing is this: when you look at the issue of corruption, there were people that were suspended, right? And guess what? The good thing about Boubacar is this: when the president say that I suspend you, it means time indefinite, right? You will not come back until you go through the line of prosecution, LACC, right? That's an initiative. That's a step, right? So we have to say bravo to that. The issue of development is where they're coming. The issue of development. With the two government, the issue of development, we look at the issue of policy. Policy, I grade Boubacar. If I were to like grade from 1 to 10, I would give Boubacar 7.5. With the issue of policy for CDC, they were playing with the game, the policy issue. So I would grade it 6.5. When we look at development, with the level of work done, I would tell you, say, I grade CDC over Boubacar, the Boubacar government, President Boubacar government, because CDC have gone, they have laid the premise, they have shown us work that they have done within 6 years. We have not seen anything yet. What I'm seeing is the passion of role. So what Unity Party need to do is to double up when it comes to the issue of construction, the issue of infrastructure. They need to double up.
Okay. Let's try to take phone calls quickly. Try to announce the numbers for us now. George, That's why I think I've been doing a lot of talking.
Yeah, the number to call tonight is usual.
George, we are actually
So please, it's time to call the number 077-846-0793, 077-846-0793. Please, 077-846-0793.
Okay, so that's the number to call, or better still, you can call at the Lone Star 0886-540-987. Let's take the first call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening, my name is Kekungano. I've come from the JB and JBK Dream from Better Labia Foundation.
Let's hear from you, sir.
I don't really contents from the CDC point. For me, I'm from the NPP. There was some vision that I was embedded in my thinking that Georgia could do better as young as she was, taking over this country that came from 14-year war. Really from the 1980 execution of 13 men on the poll could ring bells in Georgia here that corruption was impeding our progress. So I got disappointed when I voted for him to tell us in one of the interviews from one of the radio stations. He said to the journalist that agriculture minister is being caught in the web of corruption. He said, is that a result? Is that a date? I mean, his answer was very ridiculous to me. Okay, and then when he spoke to the British journalist that I'm not an economist, that it tells me that the country was clearly, in a position that anybody could see and go free. Because anyone who do not understand economic theory, like he went to Paul and said, "Your asymmetry, why is it a harmonization?" I mean, it was too ridiculous to our state. Thank you.
Okay, let's take another caller quickly on the line. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. George.
Yeah, let's hear from you.
I didn't particularly get to give family a coin on the tower. Let me say thanks to everyone for the conversation. Okay, economy. For some, we are not in economy, but at least we are on the street. Some of all the bad things. When CDC to all the country, a lot of time we were changing $5 was $7.50. When we came where the $5, 11 to what 7, and now over $60. So how will you say the editor too expensive more than time? So government I have to be Mr. George because people born every day and not expecting president to be there before, but now if people living where you're going to your country freely and they coming by hearing back men saying they are Asian child people for 3,000 now people pay 1,000, some more pay 1,005. So the thing thinking is just so I don't know come and get everything pays now.
Okay, let's take another call.
That's not true.
Okay, let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good evening to your panelists. This is Emmanuel Pan.
Okay.
Assistant Labor Minister for Plain and Nepal.
Let's hear from you.
So basically, I just called to take on the last point raised by Representative Moba to say the CDC did well in infrastructure development in the Unity Party. No, I think that's erroneous.
But you just got 1 year. You just got 1 year.
Can the please protect the caller?
Yeah, it's erroneous. The entirety of the CDC administration, the Southeast wasn't pliable during rainy season. For the very first time in 10 years during rainy season, the Southeast is not cut off from the country. If this is not a boost in the infrastructure,
So it's a model run infrastructure? It's a model run infrastructure.
Infrastructure, the road pavement of asphalt have gone as far as Capeta. Then you call that modern pavement.
You said Nigeria, Maryland now.
Oh yeah, so this is just to tell you who created CDC 6 years in infrastructure development overall, but yet the Southeast wasn't pliable during the rainy season. Then that's erroneous. The next point before I go off the line, since we took over, there has never been shortage of some what we call political commodity on the availability of them in the local market. There has been regular presence of gasoline. There has not been shortfall of our staple food in the market. You call boycott these things that we are doing and not impacting or tackling the bread and butter issue of the country.
We're discussing price analysis. Price analysis. Not bread and butter. Price analysis, please.
No, but even price analysis, the cost of rice, the cost of
So,
petroleum.
yeah, what's the price of rice? A cup of rice. What's the price of the cup of rice? What's the price of a cup of rice?
It's not the same as now.
It means you can go in the market, bro.
For price of rice, 25 kg. CDC didn't leave it at that. They left it at around 3,600.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Minister. Mr. Minister, thank you. Thank you for weighing in. Thank you very much. And let's take additional calls. 0778-460-793. That's the number to call. Again, 0778-460-793. Or better still, you can call the Lone Star line 0886-540-987. Again, 0886-540-987. Or call 0778-460-793. We are discussing a major topic tonight. It's the Unity Party riding on the glory of the CDC. Let's hear from you. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, my conversation has to do with the bread and butter issue always discussing. Was it the bread and butter issue not in the Southeast? Because those days we used to buy a bag of bread for 5,000 in the Southeast.
Today.
But then in Morocco, Arata, people are buying it more cheaper. So Arata in the Southeast now is more lower. So the bread and butter tuna on Arata.
Okay.
That's my contribution.
Okay, many thanks. Let's get another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Jeff Mutara calling for district number 15.
Let's hear from you, Jeff.
Yes, so just following this about when you're looking at part analysis for now, if they're talking about growing government, because first of all, we should understand that at the time the rate came at 150, we were buying red here at the rate of 2,100 because red that was 13 or 50 cents. When George Bush took over, the harmonization brought the rest down all the way because they brought the rest down. Until 2023, the rest have to go back up. If you are looking at
due to the COVID, that's global issue.
Just free for sometimes it can be 600. It depends the world market at the time. But today, when Unity Party took over, the first time Unity Party took over the government, because the prices on the world market at the time, it was higher. The gasoline was $900 a ton. But because the rate that is government, it dropped the price of the gasoline because we were changing from 150, it later on it went to 160 until it went to 188.
Okay.
Government led power. So how can you compare government at the time or not government at the time with this one year? Which you rate that is to or 200?
Okay. You make a point. Let's take another call in the line quickly. Good evening. Good evening. Hello?
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm okay. Let's hear from you quickly.
Okay, I'm Ambassador Divan Tiapo, political apostle, and I call from District 16.
Let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you for this platform. One thing I want to say to the Liberian people and those guys that are defending CDC, they should stop the kind of lazy argument. When you fail massively and then you have set that record to be the only government to serve one term, it tells that the Liberian people that were tired with them, and then the reason why they elected President Joseph Imam Bouakai. So if they were going to do that best, they were never going to be and rejected by the Liberian people. So they should stop making here. They should stop saying that glory. The Unity Party government is on fire to what? To bring the legislative change that people feel they do. So they stop it. We don't want them. The George Manor, we had the whosoever, they were play ball yesterday. The Liberian people were so bad to see that you stop thinking that they will come back to power to find and reach yourself. We beg them, those guys. We don't want them. They are
Okay.
boys.
Okay.
We beg them.
Okay, let's get another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And let me say good evening to your fellow panelists. This is William Covey, and I joined this conversation from District 3. Well, let me appreciate all of you. And I think tonight I will give it to the Dr. Lester Tenney for explaining the economy in the practical terms to the people that we understood tonight what is economic. Look, when I hear people saying, things being high under this administration than the previous administration now, when it comes to the economy, the purchasing power under this government has increased. How? This government has, carry on top of salary in some entity that the police officers were making below $100. Now this government, no police officer is making less than $150. They are top their salary up. Nurses, they top their salary up. The teachers, they top their salary up. So when you do that in the economy, the purchasing power will increase because the people will have more to spend in the market. So when it comes to the thing prices, Honorable, please go to the market and ask to the various shop. The red price was at 3,600 when this government took over. In recent times, the president just released an executive order to drop tariff on red. Particularly upon that decision for the president led to the red price to decrease to 3,100.
Yeah, so just recently.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So in some community, maybe 5 places you will see for 3,150.
Okay.
So that is the $50 is for the transportation.
Okay, you made a point already. You made a point. Let's get another call on the line quickly. Good evening. 0778460793. I will take 2 more calls quickly. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, let's hear from you.
Yes, room was not built. One thing. President Bokar is doing very well. Yes.
Okay.
He's not going to pour food on everybody's table. Yes. They are trying, but President Bokar cannot be in every offices. We Liberians, we are wicked to our own country. We don't love our country. That's why I got to tell you. Thank you.
Many thanks. Many thanks. We'll take one more call and then wrap it up quickly. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, this is Ibrahim B. Kelly. I call from district number 14, precisely Clarendon community.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just make my point quickly. For the Liberian people today, we look at everything to be politics. Our major issue here is our civil food. People complaining that this is hard, and it is true. We need a government that was in power before that for the CDC government previously. It did not do well, and the Liberian people left. They take their decision by taking it from power. We will let for the new government. Therefore, what the government, they mentioned that the government put it in place by changing past leadership, helping them, auditing them, and sending them to court by doing some of them. Let it also begin with those that in office today that use suspending the person without investigation. We give them no outcome of the investigation and the person scot-free. Therefore, the Abdullah Kamara from the LCA. Today, our communication system is very bad when it comes to you pay $50 for 8 minutes. The 8 minutes you go 3 minutes is finished. So that is my contribution. Let's think on something better that we need to do.
The last one.
For the rest price, for the rest price,
yeah.
The price of the rest is just decreased in content. The government just reduce the price to content.
Okay.
But let me go. Joe did his best at the time when he was in power, because during that time it was a global crisis that was affecting the entire country.
Okay. The last one, quickly. Good evening. Good evening. Yes, let's hear from you.
Yes, Mackley.
Yes, you are.
Thank you, and thanks to all of the panelists. So, it is incredible that people come to the radio, the populist discourse with deception and lies. Look, the representatives, I don't know which one of the districts, but I think, today is people from the district are regretting.
So what's the lie? So
Mr. Representative,
I will not have you subjecting me to anything. What's the lie?
So Mr. Representative,
go ahead.
You were told that today NTA buses are running in counties. You rejected that and you said that was not.
No. I said how many of them? How many of them? That's what I said. How many of them?
No, Mr. Representative, you are in studio. Give me time.
Yeah, go ahead.
You have all of the time to talk.
Go ahead.
Right? When your fellow panelists told you that MTA buses were running in counties, you said no.
How many of them?
Another person accepted.
How many of them? Young man, how many of them?
Another person accepted. That's how you
attested, not attested. Come on.
Listen. You see, you don't want to bring distraction here. You want to bring distraction here.
I'm not bringing distraction.
If caller, respond to you in a way that you are, responding, then you say the person.
You find out how it works. So your way you comprehend is difficult now. You find out how it works. Okay. I've been there with Unity Party. I've been there with Unity Party. We have Sedition arguing with me on the issue of Unity Party. Let him land. Quickly.
So
I will not see you this time.
When you come to public discourse, you must be disciplined, right? You know.
To say that to our guests, you can say.
I'm saying when you come to public discourse, you must be disciplined because you come to pass information to people who are
information. That's another error.
All right, that does it, gentlemen. That does it. We are not taking additional calls. Let's just go around the table to get reactions and patching comment. David Koti, Mr. Koti, let's hear from you quickly, please.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Koti, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to be quiet and enjoy the show. But I'm constrained to call because of the behavior of the honorable student. And so, but you can't do that to the public. Just as you protect the honorable student, you should protect the callers too.
But we're protecting both sides.
But the guy went too high. Honorable Koti, he went too high.
We are not in a grammar school here. Anybody can make a mistake. The topic there is not about grammar, English. No, you can't do that to the public, Mr. Honorable. You can't do that. You're not supposed to be so.
No, but he said the honorable lie, Mr. Koti. We should respect our leader. He said the honorable lie, right? And I said, I'm aware of bosses, but how many of those bosses are you referring to?
Don't do that. When you are in studio, you have more time to talk. The callers call, spending their money, have few minutes, and you interrupting and almost insulting them, and you can't do that.
No, he did. Okay, he did. Honorable Koti, he did.
Mr. Koti, thank you very much.
You are a lawmaker. If I address you that way, you will not be fine.
Don't do that. No, don't do that to the public. Give the people a chance to talk. Nobody teach you English yet?
No one will look at a lawmaker and say you lie, Mr. Koti, Honorable Koti. No one will say you lie. That's not good.
Okay, Mr. Koti, thank you very much.
Mr. Koti, you want to put a time lawmaker, you fear the people. Come on.
Koti, thank you.
You fear the people.
All right, let's try to go around the table, please.
We see the people each and then you say so much.
Dr. Tony, your reaction and party comment quickly.
We work with Charter, you fear the people in the country. You can be telling me.
Dr. Tinning? Is Dr. Tinning on? Okay. Jacob, let's hear your reaction and parting comment.
No. I would just say that it's been a nice discussion. It was nice taking part in the discourse, and then, of course, having the opportunity and the time to share my perspective. I respect the views of everyone. We all cannot see the issue from the same point of view. So
thank you.
It's all good. So thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm always happy to join your show.
Okay. Mr. Wisa, let's hear from you quickly, your reaction and parting comment.
Yes, again, I want to say thank you for the great show. I'm so excited to be here tonight. I just wanted to say that our brothers on the other side should wait for the Unity Party to deliver on their promises. The Unity Party is prepared to take the country beyond their expectations. As you can see already, the government has started doing great things. As many people have already said, today, NTA buses are going to Harper. Some went to Lofa already. and there are many other good things in the Puebla. There is no need for the CDC to want to compare their 6 years legacy with a government that is joining power for just 16 months. So they need to wait. And I also want to say thank you to Dr. Tenin for extending his class here tonight to teach us many things about the economy. So, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you. You made a point. Mr. Massaquoi, let's hear from you quickly. Just a few seconds. Your reaction and closing comment. Mr. Massaquoi? Okay, it seems Mr. Massaquoi is not there.
Yes.
Let's hear from you. Yes, Mr. Massaquoi.
He's coming on.
Yes, quickly.
You know, Representative Sumoke Moluba misinformed the people, and I think it's important we try to clarify that. So he said George Weah dismissed nobody or suspend nobody in 6 years. And I say no. Mr. Nathaniel Blama was dismissed from the EPA by George Weah. Mr. George D. Wallow, Deputy Minister at Commerce, was dismissed. Peter D. Soma, Assistant Minister at Commerce, was dismissed. Over 15 to 16 persons were dismissed and suspended by George Weah. And so that is the first.
You persecuted them? Did you persecute them?
If somebody talking about policy, Representative Small, you cannot grade Unity Party in policy. The arrest agenda is targeted at 8.38 billion. That is a perpetual failure with the aid court because over 45% of the arrest agenda or the aid now was dependent on foreign direct investment. We have not seen that with aid court.
Okay.
Have depreciated on a very high margin. Then
okay, thank you.
Road connectivity. All of the road connectivity that you are seeing today, these are dividends. Let me just remind you, a few days ago, Honorable Samuel D2 said to the Liberian people that in the next 10 years, majority of the financing agreement that you will see happening, these were the result, these were the workings of the CDC government. So now 6 years, 10 years, meaning after.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Massaquoi. Thank you very much. Let's hear from the Mr. Massaquoi. No, thank you. You made your point already.
Yeah,
you made your point, Mr. Massaquoi. We can't, we already gone overboard. Let's hear from
first of all, I'd like to start from where he stopped when he made mention of the Honorable Samuel Toure. He made reference to those indicators that were going to benefit Liberia. But what I would like to throw a prospect to would be the issue of what he said then when he talked about Liberia supplying agriculture. So most of the statement from Amara Kone need to be analyzed really. But then when it comes to all of those issues that were laid down, because I've seen that I'm the one being attacked because I'm the middleman. I mean, the people interest. Usually those that are in the people interest will be attacked. Yeah. Because CDC attacked me, Unity Party attacked me. I listen to the caller. I'm listening to my brother here. They're all attacking me.
They're attacking you.
Yeah, they're attacking me, right? Only because I'm in the middle. So if I want to take a side, I think I want to have callers supporting me. But the truth here is this. The truth of the matter here is this. Yeah, the truth of the matter here is this. The truth of the matter here is this. If you want me to bow down now to your issue of Unity CDC, then I will bow down and I'll make it worse for you. So let us not argue that, right? So the thing here is this. The truth of the matter here is this. We have Unity Party. When we are comparing the time interval, I always say this, the time interval. Unity Party have gone 1.5 years, right? With the level of indicator that we are receiving, the rating of indicator, it tells you that Unity Party is doing well compared to CDC first and second year. Mm-hmm. That's it. We should be. I'm a realist. I will say the truth. So to have people throwing, talks at me as it relates to Unity Party, I think it's not good. It's not in the interest of all of us. When we see the fault, we will say that. I just hear the issue of the boss, right? He just told me that they have purchased boss, right? So it means that it was under my microscope. So if President Boka had done that, bravo to President Boka for that. I rather hear him for that, right? Mm-hmm. So the issue of road connectivity, right? When we look at the issue of road, I listened to a caller saying that they plowed the road from here to Grand Gita, right? it still remains a model road. When you have an alpha pavement that will reach from your Grand Gide, then the people of Liberia will be happy. I'm not talking about political party interest. I'm talking about the people of Liberia interest. Okay. So we need to do more as it relates to all of these things we're saying. Thank you.
Okay, many sense. Right before we go, let me try to read this.
You're stressing the honorable man all day.
Let me try to read this.
Young man, so you come here with.
Okay, so gentlemen, let me try to read this quickly. This is very important. African Development Bank AFDB President Dr. Akiwumi Adesina visits Liberia. AFDB President Dr. Akiwumi Adesina, upon the invitation of President Joseph Juma Boakai, will address a high-level forum comprising cabinet ministers, deputy ministers, and assistant ministers, heads and deputies of SOEs, commissioners and commissions and agencies on the theme Liberia Arise and Shine. Dr. Adesina will also be honored by President Boakai for his immense contributions to Africa and Liberia's development. The event will conclude with the launch of the Youth Entrepreneurship Investment Bank YEB, a project sponsored by the AFDB and other partners aimed at supporting youth-led enterprises in Liberia. And of course, this will be Tuesday, that's tomorrow, July 22nd, 2025. Venue, Theater of the EJS Ministerial Complex. That's the high-level meeting to be held with the African Development Bank President Dr. Akiwumi Adesina. That's tomorrow. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. All of our guests, Jacob Ijala, Oliver Wisa Senior, Mr. Fode Masakwe, Dr. Lester Tinning, and Representative Sumo Molba. We would like to thank all of you for this program tonight. Our co-hosts, George Kennedy, thank you very much, and Moses Sandy as well, and our producers. On behalf of all of the team, Sabo George is my name. Join us on Wednesday. Have a blessed day.
Good.